What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Brav Global Reaction. Kindly for watching me for the first time, remember to like, subscribe and also comment. So today's video is about Mottley. She's sending a very tough and strong warning to all Caribbean leaders. This is about the crime scenes and corruption cases that have been found out in the Caribbean. So guys, before I dive in, let us watch this video till the end, then I shall be coming in with more comments.
The time, who sees us and who hears us? We continue to be confronted by problems of blacklisting, which pale into insignificance when compared to climate change, but which destroy our financial sector. The illicit flow of weapons, such that the ease with which people can go into public spaces and shoot and kill others is now regarded as just another item on the news because we promote profit in the manufacture and trade of guns and weapons, of non-communicable diseases that strike down our people in the most insidious of ways because we allow diets that promote the prosperity of a few multinational corporations to become the norm of the day with the food that we eat and the lives that we live. And in the case within our own community, Belize and Guyana continue to face challenges to their territorial integrity. I suppose people feel that because we have talked so long about Belize and Guyana and Cuba, that we can continue to talk about climate change and these other things, and that it is okay for it to be another tick on a UN General Assembly speech. These are all threats to our stability, to the people's stability in our lands. But you know, since last we met, there are other instances and circumstances not of our making that may yet destabilize us. And we say it over and over, but we ask who is listening. And you know, we don't come with tales of woe only. The Caribbean has produced excellence. It really has. Nobel laureates, sportsmen who have excelled and are the best in the world of their type, artists, the best in the world of their type, leaders who have inspired previous generations and current generations. We don't come here as a proud people asking for handouts. We don't want and will not be mendicant. What we want, no, what we need is fiscal and policy space. Fiscal and policy space to achieve sustainable development, to be nimble, to adapt and to innovate in ways that allow us to be true and faithful to the task of bringing prosperity to our people, or as in the theme of this General Assembly, to eradicate poverty, to educate our people, to include all such that there's not some outside and some inside. We want an international order equally that recognizes that there must be different policy prescriptions to suit the circumstances that we all have. And we can still be friends, small and large, north and south, Christian, Hindu, Muslim, all different races, all genders. An equitable and just international order that is truly built on the principles of justice and fairness for all and not just for some. A United Nations that recognizes that as 74 years old we must be able to have difficult conversations as mature people and solve them. Many in the developing world were persuaded or required to abandon policies that were designed for the majority of our population to be transformed. And those policies were fashioned to adopt a consensus that was settled in Washington, D.C. and named thereafter. And that ultimately, regrettably, was about the consolidation of wealth in the hands of a very few. That's why we have seen the growing inequality that we have seen in the world over the last few decades. That is why too many people over the world have become cynical about governments and about the benefits that they can bring to them. The fueling of the greed of a few threatens to undermine what little gains we have made since independence. And we judge ourselves harshly because independence is a recent phenomenon for us. Others who have taken 150 years to get where they have gotten are still stumbling and falling. And you want to judge those who have had less than 50 or 60 years to operate in a world that has not been made in their image and that does not reflect their interests. This is the fate, my friends, of simply too many. And Mr. President, despite our small sizes, the 14 countries of the Caribbean community have been able to play leadership roles of international import. I can't stand here today without talking about St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that has become the smallest nation of the world ever to be elected to the Security Council to sit on it. We are proud of them. In addition, and I want to speak to this, because when CARICOM was confronted with the unfolding situation in Venezuela, I accompanied the then chairman of CARICOM, the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, to meet in this building with the UN Secretary General in January of this year. And we met with many delegations, and some said we were wasting our time, and some said the time for talk was already over. And we said then, as we say almost 9 months later, the time for dialogue, the time for talk, my friends, can never be over in a world that wants peace and prosperity. We don't take sides, but what we know is that you cannot propel war over dialogue. The people of Venezuela must be allowed to decide their own future in accordance with the principles of the United Nations Charter. Principles of non-intervention, non-interference, prohibition of the threat or use of force, respect for the rule of law, human rights, and democracy. It is regrettable that other multilateral organizations have not followed their own charters. And that is what makes the actions of our Secretary General of the UN more laudable, for refusing to breach his own charter and take actions even though member states have hurled into the recognition of those unelected. Our Caribbean Sea must remain a zone of peace, and for that we shall fight. Mr. President, I speak plainly and without fear, because from independence, Barbados' foreign policy has been premised on the simple principle of friends of all, satellites of none. Barbados, therefore, has always remained and will remain proud to have Cuba as a treasured.
So guys, I think I've watched the video till the end. You have really seen that Mottley was sending a very, very tough and stiff warning to Caribbean leaders. She is having a very positive message and very positive vision about the Caribbean countries. And this is not something to argue about or something to form a debate maybe about it, because Mottley was seriously sending a warning to Caribbean leaders that they have to make a U-turn. They have to return to the positive side of their country so that their countries may develop infrastructure in infrastructure and also in the way they are moving on. For them to reduce the crime cases, they have to make a U-turn to return to the positive side of their leadership. So guys, I want us to tackle each problem that is facing the Caribbean countries just the way Mottley was speaking. To begin with is corruption cases. We are seeing that corruption has been rising very, very rapidly to the Caribbean countries, where for a person to get employed, he or she has to give something, or he or she must have a connection with those who are in leadership. This is what we call corruption. Many people are engaging in corruption cases. We are seeing many people who are taking their cases to the courts. They are not given that justice they require. They are not being heard too. This is because corruption has taken part in the Caribbean countries. And this is what Mottley was condemning very, very toughly. She was saying that when corruption shall be eradicated, then the Caribbean countries shall be good to go. Another thing is unemployment. Mottley was speaking about many people serving in the government. We are seeing that in the Caribbean countries, we have either 3 or 4 people serving in the government. And yet we have these other people who have the qualities, they have those required skills. They have been going through the education system. They have the required necessities for them to be employed, but they're not getting that chance to get employed because there are some leaders who have taken their family members into leadership. Many people are serving the government instead of those who are qualified. That's what we call unemployment. It has contributed to many cases of unemployment. Another thing, we are having crime cases and insecurities. Many people are being killed and others are being robbed just openly at the streets. The crime cases have been rising in a very, very rapid speed. And we are seeing that some of the leaders who are in leadership are the ones who are owning these gangs, which are attacking people. People are being killed violently and there is nothing which is done about it. This is what Mottley was addressing very, very stiffly, that it has to be stopped. So the Caribbean leaders have to take an action. An action has to be taken for these cases to be solved, for these issues to be resolved, because for the Caribbean countries to be the way it is required to be, there must be something positive done in the leadership. We are also having the problem of insecurities. Some people are feeling like they are insecure. Whenever a person walks, he or she feels that, am I secured? Like, am I safe? Because the safety is not that assured. One is not that sure that he or she is secure because the security agencies have been lazy. We are seeing that the security personnel have not been performing their duties the way they are required to do it. Because when we have securities, we should see the minimal cases of crime. We should see the minimal cases of maybe someone being robbed. And this problem of insecurity is spreading like to all countries in the Caribbean. So Mottley was saying that they have to improve in their leadership. Another problem which is very, very tough at the Caribbean countries is misallocation of funds. We are seeing that the funds have been allocated for maybe hospitals or the health sector, but it's being used to the other sectors. We are seeing that we have also the funds being misused. The construction of infrastructure. We have the money allocated to construct the roads, but there are no roads constructed. Or if they are done, they are constructed in a very, very poor manner. This has been causing a lot of accidents. Even the foods which have to reach the areas where we have disasters, they are delaying. This causes many people to die because when a person is hungry, others, they are not having water. So when the water and the food delays due to poor roads, we see that people die because there is no available resources. And it's not that there are no resources. This is because the roads have not been well constructed. Another thing is the misperformance at the health section. Health sector has been performing poorly. We are seeing patients dying. We are seeing patients not being attended to. Many people are complaining of maybe the doctors who are not that qualified. This is because employment was done to the wrong people. This is what Mottley was speaking about. Tribalism. People giving out employment to the people of their own origin. So Mottley was saying that the Caribbean countries have to own their people the way they are, not according to tribes. So guys, thank you for watching. This is Brav Global Reaction. Remember to subscribe, remember to like, and remember to comment. Let us interact more to the comment section. Bye for now. Let us meet again in the next video.